You are listening to Are You Ready Radio with Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. Find Are You Ready on Facebook and Instagram at Are You Ready Radio. You can also visit our home on the web. Just go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the program's link. If you missed the live show, you can listen to the show's archives on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, and many more, including our home on Spreaker. When a disaster happens, are you ready? Do you have the supplies you need to keep you and your family safe and survive? The Zombie Outpost store in Wilmington, Ohio, at Cedar Creek Flea Market, stocks quality gear you need to be ready for the next emergency or even a camping trip. Visit zombieoutpoststore.com for location and hours. Check out our assortment of essentials you need when the next disaster happens. Go to zombieoutpoststore.com. Get 10% off at checkout when you mention Are You Ready Radio. Be ready and be prepared.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No-nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. If you love the Dog Abby segments on Counterculture-Wise Radio, you will love Nose to Nose Networking even more. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hard copy, Kindle, and Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
Greetings and salutations, Counterculture-Wise listeners. This is Maximilian von Riegelbieser inviting you and yours to listen to me and mine. Join me, my sisters Abby and Fritzy, and my weekly guests, my father Jim and Mumsy Melanie, for Counterculture-Wise.
Max, it's not your show!
And we're not your guests, Max. We're the hosts. You may want to rein it in a little bit, buddy.
Very well. Tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific at counterculturewise.com for our amazing live variety show. You can even chat with us. If you ask me, though, it should be called Counterculture Max.
Counterculture Wise! Radio with heart and mind.
Got a spare tire around that waist? Is your muffin top over the top? Do you binge eat uncontrollably? We are the government and we are here to help you. Here at our free FEMA weight loss camp, we have numerous ways to help you shed those unsightly, unwanted pounds. FEMA, or Fatties Eating Mitigated, automatically has a communist-style weight loss czar that specializes in centralized weight loss planning and communal extended fasting programs to shed that fat away in no time. Skin and boned means extra toned is the motto. Just remember, there is no way you can do it on your own. We will forcefully assist you into compliance. Failure is not an option in this utopian wonderland. How fantastic. Typical workout regimes include digging ditches and restocking them with dirt, building railways and more. Get life skills while you get lean. How do you join? Simple. Recite the Constitution in a public commons or violate the Patriot Act that includes simple misdemeanors. It's really that easy to get your own fenced-in slice of Americana. Stop being a fatty. The state is your daddy.
If you like what you are listening to, we appreciate your support. A small contribution from you, the listeners, can continue to help bring you such content and help keep things going here, even if it's just $1 a month. keep in mind, though, in the spirit of prepping, we believe in redundancy, so it's better to have more than one, but every little bit helps pay the bills. Go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the Support the Show link. You can make a one-time or monthly contribution in any dollar amount. And again, thank you for your support and listening. Are You Ready is an NP Media Group production and is the official broadcast of the Zombie Outpost in Wilmington, Ohio. The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast are those of the host and not that of the station, advertisers, or its affiliates. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio with Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You never know when an emergency is going to happen. Disaster can strike at any time. Whether stuck on the road, riding out a power outage, escaping a natural disaster, or surviving a doomsday apocalypse, what would you do? No matter the scale, whether 1 hour or 1 year, will you survive? You're about to hear what it takes to be prepared. Now ask yourself, are you ready? Have you ever heard the term prepper? What comes to mind? Some of you may think it's a crazy guy with a bomb shelter and an old army truck parked on the front lawn. Well, prepper simply is a person who is ready for almost any emergency, small or large. It's no different than on a rainy day taking an umbrella with you when you leave your home or putting a coat on when it's cold outside. So maybe you think you're prepared for a brief time in that environment. But what if a few minutes turn into a day or even a year? I'm your host, Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper, and I'm going to use my over 25 years of prepping and survival experience and knowledge in this program to help you and your family prepare to handle almost anything, from a small event, from a doomsday apocalypse. So get ready, because I'm prepared to enlighten you to seriously think, prepare, and answer the question, are you ready? And I want to hear anything you have to say about the subject, whatever you may have to offer. You see, it's important that we share our knowledge with each other, learn from each other, and help each other out. You see, the more prepared those around us are, the better your chances of survival will be when a disaster happens. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard the term zombies. Well, those are just those that are not prepared and come after whatever you have. Well, the call-in number is 513-815-6336 if you want to be a part of the show. Again, that's 513-815-6336. Also, check out our live chat room on Spreaker. That's S-P-R-E-A-K-E-R, Spreaker.com. Just go to the Are You Ready show, search it right there in the search bar. You can get there live through the website, nickpiercemedia.com. I post exclusive content on the home of Are You Ready on Facebook and on Instagram. Just go to Are You Ready Radio. You can interact with other members of the prepping community before, during, and after our broadcast. So share your knowledge. And again, if you want to call, the call-in number is 513-815-6336. So more and more, we've been hearing a lot lately about shortages, supply chain issues, demand on a lot of things that a lot of stores don't have, and all kinds of things going on. Most recently now, I don't say the most recent, but it's been going on for a while and building to the big baby formula shortage. And I've had a lot of questions over the past few weeks from folks that I've run into that know me, or even just a couple through the messenger on our social media platforms, trying to figure out, okay, what do preppers do for baby formula when the fit hits the fan? That seems to be the number one question right now that I'm getting a lot of. And the only answer I really had for them up front was the most obvious until I started doing some research. And, breastfeeding. Breastfeeding was the only answer I had at the time. In conversation, a lot of times, some folks, we have a great conversation about it where, what if you can't? What if you're a single father? Well, yeah, that presents another situation there, another issue. And I never gave it much thought. See, I don't have kids. I mean, I have my nephews and my niece. I call them my kids. I treat them like my kids, but I don't have my own kids. I never had to raise a baby. And I'm not a baby person to begin with. But I thought about this. And, babies take a lot of patience. I don't think that I had the patience. Now, I'm sure that if I was a dad, and I like little babies, I can't really say I'm not a baby person, but I don't think I had the patience to deal with a baby all the time. I thought about it, and I figured, well, surely there's got to be some, like, doomsday prepper alternative to all this. Like, obviously breastfeeding, but I'm sure that the situation has come up. So I figured I'd do a little research about it. And it's kind of like, sure, not everybody may have a parent. Way back in the old days, it wasn't uncommon if the birth was really complicated for the mother to not survive giving birth. So surely there were alternatives. And baby formula definitely wasn't invented back then. So I figured, well, what if there is no way to nurse a baby? And what alternatives are there? Not only outside of formula. I mean, there's so many different brands on the market, this, that, and the other. I don't even know where you start and how do you even figure out what formula you need. But surely there has to be at least an alternative. And we must have access to be able to think about it. If formula can be made in a factory, you got to be able to make it at home. If it can be made somewhere, can you make your own? Do you need any special equipment for this? Do you need any machines? Do you need special ingredients? What's so special about baby formula? So I figured I'd do my research. And I'm going to kind of think, originally I was going to talk about on this episode, like kind of building your prepper network and all this. This is kind of part of that, but it's and you'll see why it has to do with that. I'm going to veer off my original point, my original topic that I was going to talk about this evening, because this seems to be more of an important question. And I figured, why not? Let me do the research and figure it out. And, of course, I like to have all the answers for you. So, if you come to me for answers, I like to have them. And really, that's what this program is really about. If anybody wants to chime in, don't forget our chat room. If you have any solutions, ideas, any advice, maybe if you're a parent and maybe you make your own formula. I'd like to know. This way I can share it with our listeners. What do you do? What do you normally, how do you normally go about it? Whatever. I'm kind of curious. So pretty much the information I have is more based on strictly my research and not that of experience for a change this evening. But I'm going to get into that after this quick timeout. Stick around in this episode, Prepping for Your Babies and what to do for formula. Coming up. Find Are You Ready on Facebook and Instagram at Are You Ready Radio. You can also visit our home on the web. Just go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the program's link. If you missed the live show, you can listen to the show's archives on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, and many more, including our home on Spreaker. When a disaster happens, are you ready? Do you have the supplies you need to keep you and your family safe and survive? The Zombie Outpost store in Wilmington, Ohio, at Cedar Creek Flea Market, stocks quality gear you need to be ready for the next emergency or even a camping trip. Visit zombieoutpoststore.com for location and hours. Check out our assortment of essentials you need when the next disaster happens. Go to zombieoutpoststore.com. Get 10% off at checkout when you mention Are You Ready Radio. Be ready and be prepared. If you like what you are listening to, we appreciate your support. A small contribution from you, the listeners, can continue to help bring you such content and help keep things going here, even if it's just $1 a month. Keep in mind, though, in the spirit of prepping, we believe in redundancy, so it's better to have more than one, but every little bit helps pay the bills. Go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the Support the Show link. You can make a one-time or monthly contribution in any dollar amount. And again, thank you for your support and listening. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio with Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. All right, and we're back. I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You're listening to Are You Ready? Prepping and Survival Radio. And this episode, we are talking about preparing for babies. Now, not as far as, oh, congratulations, you're having a baby, and this is how to have a baby, and, you know, learn how to give childbirth, and what to do, and the nutritional side, and how to make or how to care for babies and all that. Hopefully you know how to make a baby by now if you're doing this. But more so the prepping side for babies. So, and you know, most people think it's like, well, just pick up the baby and go. The baby just goes everywhere with us. We just pick it up and go wherever. And yeah, when you leave your home, your little baby has a little go-out bag. It's got its diapers and its bottle and a little pacifier and maybe a change of clothes and something and a bunch of other baby things that go in this baby thing bag. But what about a bug-out bag for it? Now, maybe the baby bag is also its get-home bag, because it kind of goes wherever baby goes. But I wanted to dive into more of the prepping side of the baby thing. So, and as well as alternatives for formula. What are we doing for shortages? Now, you know, mostly it's formula. I'm sure that there's been a lot of different issues, and I don't shop for baby things, but I've heard that, like, at some point a couple of years ago, I think there was an issue with some folks finding diapers in certain stores. And that seems to be a reasonable, reasonable, something easy to kind of have a solution or remedy, because disposable diapers, again, another modern day invention. So really what you have to do is we have to look back at history. We have to go back in time to what did we used to do. And a lot of that is, we do that a lot when it comes to our methods, when it comes to, we'll say, homesteading. We're constantly looking back at things that they've done, like preserving food, smoking foods, canning and jarring, and all kinds of practices. Even primitive ways of, we'll say, landscaping, gardening, irrigation, collecting and gathering water. All these things, we've always looked back at maybe the way our great-grandparents did it, our grandparents may have done it, and in some places, even in this country or even around the world to this day, our parents and us, people still do it. So, really look back at the way it was before things like baby diapers and baby formulas were even invented. So, for example, baby diapers were first created in Sweden in 1942. It was just an absorbent pad and a rubber pair of pants that went over it. And before that, people used cloth diapers, normally made of cotton or some type of flannel. And those were typically just tied around the baby. Eventually, a safety pin was made, and it was held in place with a safety pin. So what about before that? Well, before that, supposedly, according to my research, that early humans really did use diapers. It shows that either grass, moss, animal skin, and stuff like that was fastened around a baby's waist to be used as a diaper. And even as recently as even the 1700s, when I say early humans, you may be thinking like cavemen wrapping your rear end in weeds and grass. No. 1700s. Pretty much they used absorbent materials like moss, grass, weeds, and they'd be stuffed around the baby's bottom before it was wrapped up tightly in a cradle board. Now, what's a cradle board? It's kind of like a board you just strap the baby to, with a little blanket on it type thing. It's a way to carry the baby and keep your hands free. You've probably seen them depicted in like Native American art and photos and stuff. But yeah, even in the 1700s. the cradle board was used, but they used weeds, grass, moss, and all that. So they didn't use the fabric for some reason. Well, I think they wore a lot of wool, too. I think wool was a big thing. You look at some of the soldiers' uniforms and stuff, and a lot of what people wore. I think the wool would have really not felt too good. So maybe they had to wait. But yeah, so really an alternative to disposable diapers is your reusable cloth diapers. And it's funny in the 1800s in some research, I'm like, wait a minute, if they were wet, they just hung them to dry, and they didn't wash them. I don't get that. I'm wondering if maybe they just threw out the number 2 diapers. But in any case, cloth diapers, great alternative for your for disposable. And when it comes to prepping for babies and all that, and again, we're talking about prepping as in a prepper type sense, not learning how to take care of a baby. You should know that already if you're having one. Or if you got one already, you should probably already know how to take care of it and the basics about being a parent. If not, there's no return policy on those. You can't send them back, so you better learn. Now, as far as what you need when it comes to your baby and all that, you want to make an emergency kit for your baby just as you would yourself. And again, you want to start off with maybe a 72-hour emergency kit. They need different things than what grown kids and adults need. And, of course, they need different things than your pet needs. So we've discussed a lot of that in past episodes, but I fear since the formula questions keep coming up and alternatives for, shortages that are happening right now, how about a little baby bug-out bag? Now, they do need their own bug-out bag. At least for the essentials, you can put it on your... hook it onto maybe your backpack or, onto the stroller, a wagon if you're using a wagon. Anything being used to transport the baby to reduce the amount of weight that you may have to carry. And want to take a look at some of the gear and all that go into what your baby's bug-out bag, baby buggy, bag needs. So we're going to get into all that in this episode, as well as our prepping kitchen tip of the week, our financial prepping tips, mistake of the week, and all that, as well as any of your questions that you also asked, because I did want to do a Q&A episode at some point, and ever since the relaunch now, I get more and more questions and more people that are tuning back in. So I thought, maybe take the second half of this episode and dedicate it to that, because really, once you're prepared for yourself, prepping for your baby is quite easy. And I didn't want to get too off of a broad topic or a specific topic for the week, but there's a lot of questions coming in that I would like to address, especially, like I said, when it comes to the whole baby formula shortage and all that's going on right now. So we're going to get into all that. And as far as your baby bug-out bag, your baby bug-out bag's just as important as your bug-out bag, because you don't, like I said, they all need different things. They all need stuff that you would not need. And really, this holds true to a lot of different members of the family. I mean, think about a guy's bug-out bag would be different than a girl's bug-out bag. Women need certain things that guys don't, and guys need certain things that girls don't, and so especially if you have someone that is has different medical conditions and all that, maybe they're not mobile. So there's specifics when it's geared towards to that, and there's specifics geared towards your baby, because your baby really, it starts with just its dietary nutritional needs, which is why this whole formula shortage is causing so much worry and panic. And with the shortage, of course, the areas that do have it, you're seeing a lot of the panic buying happening there. And that's not uncommon anytime there's a major shortage of something. And Well, here we go again. Just like for a good few months there, for a while there was plenty of toilet paper on the shelf. Everybody started panic buying it when there was a big shortage there. It was gone. And, even once. See, now the whole thing is with the baby formula shortage is that it's a particular facility that's shut down. Now, the one facility shutting down made a lot of different brands. Not just, I think, what they're most known for, but also other brands, more like generic brands and all that. So, and lesser-known brands. So, even once they do reopen, now they've been closed for, I think, going on to 3 months. So February, March, going on to 3 months, or maybe just over 3 months. Maybe it was in the beginning of February. We're going on to the third month. Now, if you have that, so once you will say open up, okay, so your facility opens back up, then how long is it going to take you to resupply the stores? Now, just because they're open back up doesn't mean the product's going to be back on the shelf. That means, again, it's going to take some time for the product to go through manufacturing. Once it goes through manufacturing, it has to be distributed, so the supply chain there, and then it has to be put on the shelves. Now, if the plant's been shut down this long, I'm sure a lot of employees went to look for other work. And I don't know all the details about it. I don't know if they're still paying employees because it's not their fault. If maybe, they're going to have to restaff when they open up. So, and who knows if maybe it's taking so long to open up because of whatever repairs or whatever fixes they need to make. So, you look at it, and it seems like the main reason for them shutting down was because a particular strain of bacteria was found there that killed 2 babies, or that 2 babies died from. And so, depending on if they have to get new equipment or redo their process, reformulate something, or, come up with new measures, new procedures or something, then that could delay the process even more. So, and we'll get to all that after this quick timeout. Coming up to the bottom of the hour, I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You are listening to Are You Ready? Prepping and Survival Radio. If you want, chime in on the chat room, or in the chat room, just go to Spreaker.com and find Are You Ready there, and you can chat with us live during the show. Quick timeout with this rude interruption from our sponsors, but we like them. Find Are You Ready on Facebook and Instagram at Are You Ready Radio. You can also visit our home on the web. Just go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the program's link. If you missed the live show, you can listen to the show's archives on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, and many more, including our home on Spreaker. When a disaster happens, are you ready? Do you have the supplies you need to keep you and your family safe and survive? The Zombie Outpost store in Wilmington, Ohio, at Cedar Creek Flea Market stocks quality gear you need to be ready for the next emergency or even a camping trip. Visit zombieoutpoststore.com for location and hours. Check out our assortment of essentials you need when the next disaster happens. Go to zombieoutpoststore.com. Get 10% off at checkout when you mention Are You Ready Radio. Be ready and be prepared.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. If you love the Dog Abby segments on Counterculture-Wise Radio, you will love Nose to Nose Networking even more. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hard copy, Kindle, and Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
Greetings and salutations, Counterculture-Wise listeners. This is Maximilian von Riegelbieser inviting you and yours to listen to me and mine. Join me, my sisters Abby and Fritzy, and my weekly guests, my father Jim and Mumsy Melanie, for Counterculture-Wise.
Max, it's not your show!
And we're not your guests, Max. We're the hosts. You may want to rein it in a little bit, buddy.
Very well. Tune in every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific at counterculturewise.com for our amazing live variety show. You can even chat with us. If you ask me, though, it should be called Counterculture Max.
Counterculture-Wise! Radio with heart in mind.
Got a spare tire around that waist? Is your muffin top over the top? Do you binge eat uncontrollably? We are the government and we are here to help you. Here at our free FEMA weight loss camp, we have numerous ways to help you shed those unsightly, unwanted pounds. FEMA, or Fatties Eating Mitigated, automatically has a communist-style weight loss czar that specializes in centralized weight loss planning and communal extended fasting programs to shed that fat away in no time. Skin and boned means extra toned is the motto. Just remember, there is no way you can do it on your own. We will forcefully assist you into compliance. Failure is not an option in this utopian wonderland. How fantastic. Typical workout regimes include digging ditches and restocking them with dirt, building railways and more. Get life skills while you get lean. How do you join? Simple. Recite the Constitution in a public commons or violate the Patriot Act that includes simple misdemeanors. It's really that easy to get your own fenced-in slice of Americana. Stop being a fatty. The state is your daddy.
If you like what you are listening to, we appreciate your support. A small contribution from you, the listeners, can continue to help bring you such content and help keep things going here, even if it's just $1 a month. Keep in mind, though, in the spirit of prepping, we believe in redundancy, so it's better to have more than one, but every little bit helps pay the bills. Go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the Support the Show link. You can make a one-time or monthly contribution in any dollar amount. And again, thank you for your support and listening. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio with Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. And welcome back, everyone. I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You are listening to Are You Ready Survival and Prepping Radio this lovely Wednesday evening, or whenever you are listening to us. I know a lot of you like to catch the replays, and I appreciate that, keeping up with me, and of course all your support as well. Now, this week we are talking about our baby prepping. So getting a little baby bug out bag ready for your little one, and alternatives to, certain supplies that may be in shortage, in very high demand right now, and hard to find. Now, I was saying before the break, babies need their own bug out bag, a bag that just carries the essentials, something that you could hook to the back of a stroller or wagon, whatever you move them around in, wheelbarrow, that you use to transport the little baby in. Because you want to reduce the amount of weight on your back, or you can have a smaller bag, or it's incorporated in your gear. And if you have like a MOLLE system on your backpack, then you can strap their gear onto yours. Or they can wear it. I don't know. Maybe you just put the baby in the bag with all their stuff and just stick its head out. And that can go on your back. Maybe you can keep your backpack on your back and the baby on the front, however you want to do it. Your baby. But as far as the essentials you need for the baby, you're going to want, some supplies. Now, their bug-out bag is going to be specifically for them. This way it can be handed off back and forth to each other, because the baby doesn't wander around by itself, or at least it shouldn't yet. It may, but it really is probably not going to wander. And unless you keep it, secure somewhere. You want to keep it safe. You don't want, like, birds to pick it up and carry it away somewhere. So, maybe you want to keep the gear on the baby. Make it a little heavier. This way birds don't pick it up and carry it away. So, teach the baby how to carry their own gear. Why not? Go for it. But if your baby's a little too small to carry all the gear because you overload the bug-out bag, then you're going to have to carry it. So, again, these are the essentials that I want to run through this episode for prepping for your baby. Now, just like in your bug-out bag, you're going to want some form of hydration and food. Well, here we go. Your baby's going to need formula. Now, carrying canned formula and boxes of formula and stuff like that, or whatever it's packaged in, just like bottled water is not always the best. But powdered formula is very lightweight if you can find it. Again, not shortage here. And I'll get to the formula. Alternatives here. But powdered formula would be best. And then you would, make sure you have enough water or a way to filter source water, just like you would in your bug-out bag, to make the formula. So you're going to be carrying extra water, bottled water, that you're going to need to hydrate that formula. Now, of course, just like you would have a canteen water bottle or something like that, you're going to need bottles and nipples. So maybe you have your life straw, baby needs its nipples. You have your canteen, baby needs a bottle. And, of course, water to make that formula. Now, another thing that would also help, and a lot of times you don't think of this in your own kit, but a thermos. You want to be able to kind of keep the formula warm, and then it can also be used to keep the baby warm. So, just wrap it in like a cloth or blanket towel or something like that. If it's cold and, you may be outside in cold weather for an extended period of time that you're not planning on. So if you have some warm liquid or something in a thermos, it shouldn't get too hot to the touch where it could burn the baby, but you want to wrap it in a blanket anyway. It's a good source of heat to help keep the baby warm. So, and along with the source of heat, having some of those little pocket warmers, those hand warmers, would really help too. So, load a bunch of them in the bag because even though we may think it's warm and we're walking around in a T-shirt and we're in shorts and, enjoying the wonderful weather and all this, the baby thing may still get cold. Baby will still get cold. So, they're always cold and they always need to be wrapped and all that. So you want to, maybe include some hand warmers to use as a source of heat when it's not always possible to keep baby wrapped up and all that. Now, just like in your bug-out bag, you may have a change of clothes and all that, so you're going to want extra bibs, extra those little one piece onesies, a couple of those, because babies get dirty a lot. They go through clothes like crazy. And good thing that it's not real large, a lot of stuff to carry because it's so small. But you can, so whereas normally you just probably have a change or two of clothes in your bug-out bag, baby's going to need at least maybe 5 or 6 of those little onesie things to wear. And they're also bringing like mittens and hats, little knit hat, little mittens and all that, everything little tiny things. So, now, as far as diapers, this is your bug-out bag. Get used to using cloth diapers that are reusable because babies will go through a lot of diapers. Okay, this is your emergency kit for baby. And diapers take up a lot of room. Although they're lightweight, they take up room. I mean, just maybe 6 diapers could fill up like half of a small backpack. So, you want to think of reusable diapers on this one. So you can get different things like inserts and stuff for like cloth diapers, but I would definitely recommend getting used to working, using, and cleaning, and changing, and tying, pinning, bunching, clipping, whatever, cloth diapers around your baby. Because you're not going to want to take a lot of room. And think about it. What if you have really bad weather and your bag gets wet? Well, your diapers are practically useless at that point. They're very absorbent. And some of them even have that, like, if it gets wet, it's got that solidifying gel that they use in, like, certain toilets and stuff. So I think hospitals use it for spills and stuff, too. So, if your bag gets wet, maybe this is the get-home bag as well. And if you're going through some severe weather and that bag gets wet, well, your diapers are useless. So you're going to want to make sure that you get used to the cloth diaper thing. And, of course, extra little, the mittens and the hat thing. I think I said that already. Okay. I was just thinking of bad weather. And that's definitely something you should have in there. All this talk about diapers, it really brings me to our financial prepping segment of the week. So babies are expensive. There's a lot of cost, bringing up a baby, the baby thing, happening and all that with the babies. Now, diapers, like we were just talking about, the cloth diapers, great alternative for the disposables, because I was doing some research and I'm like, wow, diapers are expensive. I mean, just in a quick search that I did doing my show prep, I went to type in how much are baby diapers, and I get websites, everybody's selling baby diapers. And so there's one particular brand, leading brand. And I look here, and I'm like, okay, a size 3 for $168 or something like that, or maybe it was a size 4. Let me just go back in here real quick and find out. Size 4 baby diapers, $144 in a pack, $24. But if you get what is it? 88, it's $17. But either way, I saw prices as high as, for a count of, I think it was, it seems like all the sizes are different amounts. But one of them was like $64 for one particular size of baby diaper. It was only $168 in the pack. I'm like, wow. Now, so I asked a buddy of mine, he did the baby thing, and I said, how often do you change baby diapers? He goes, he didn't. But his wife was able to give me a better answer. So typically, I guess their most recent one, as far as I can remember, would get changed anywhere from average, we'll say 8 times a day. I said, So you would need about 148, we'll say, 250. So 250 baby diapers, okay? So then I figure, let me do the math. Now, you break it down, I guess, by price per diaper, I guess, if you really want to go that route. You're not going to just, for 250 diapers in 1 month, it was like, I think based on some of the pricing that I saw, was anywhere from 16 cents to 22 cents to 18 cents. So I'm just going to say, we'll divide that by 20 cents. So that is, oh no, wait a minute. We're multiplying 250 times 25. 250 times 0.2. There we go. Okay, here we go. 250 times, you need 20 cents a pop here, when you need $250. So you're at $50 a month, I guess, is how you break it down, at approximately 8 times a day at 20 cents a piece. And some of these, they're more expensive. Now, this is just an average. So when you think about that expense a month, just in baby diapers, cloth diapers would be a great alternative, and it'll save you a lot of money. And anyway, you want to get used to the cloth diapers anyway, because what if you can't get disposable diapers next? That's my prepping financial tip of the week. Now, moving on with my list. So, if you want to throw some disposable diapers in there, make life easy. I need to get started. Go for it. You should always, have at least something, ready to go to make whatever the situation is a little easier. But, again, don't rely on strictly the disposable diapers. Now, along with diapers, also comes, some of the other things that go along with it. You need some cleaning wipes. You're going to need, like the diaper rash ointment, and just things that you need to clean and clean the baby. And they can make a mess. You're going to go through a lot of it. So you're going to need a lot more than just your general hygiene stuff. So don't think that because you have a bar of soap and a washcloth that may be good enough. And some way to kind of dispose of it, something. Obviously a wilderness situation, you bury it, far away from your camp and all that. But, assuming you're nowhere near where you can throw it out, and it's coming with you, you want to have something to contain it in. Now, diaper wipes. I said that. Ointment. Rash ointment. Diaper rash ointment. That was what I was looking for. Diaper rash ointment. You could tell I'm so familiar with baby stuff. Like I said, most of this is just on research, and I'm looking at my notes. This is not based on experience, folks. Be careful. Along with that, of course, just like you may have a sleeping bag, baby's going to need some blankets. And, also some medications. So, babies teeth a lot. They're going to need some of that teething salve, I guess you would call it. Teething ring. That's not a medication. But, also like the infant Tylenol, they're going to require like a nose and ear syringe because they get backed up a lot. They clog. They're like toilets. They just always have to keep, plunging them out or irrigating or something. And, pacifiers, of course, keep them quiet. You don't want them to give away your location if you're trying to be discreet and hide from danger. So making sure that they're not fussy. And making sure that they're quiet when you need to. So some comfort items, maybe just a pillow, a toy, maybe a couple toys. Like strings. Cats play with strings. Babies play with strings too, I think. Sunblock. Their skin's a lot more sensitive than yours. And it's kind of one of those things when baby doesn't want to wear it, baby's not wearing it. So you want to be prepared with sunblock when they don't want to, keep their clothes on and run around. What else? Tylenol, the infant Tylenol. That can help remove some of their aches and stuff that are causing a lot of fussiness and discomfort that they may have. Now, see, you can't do sunblock. Netting. I think netting would be a better choice. It's some type of bug netting that you can cover over maybe their the baby board, whatever that thing is called, or like the stroller, the wagon, maybe it's carrier, and the little thing you put on your back or front, something to put over that because you get a bug spray on them and stuff. They have a tendency to put everything in their mouth, including their hands and their elbow, and babies, I think, can even get their nose in their mouth. Everything goes in their mouth. So I think they're the only ones that can lick their ear and their elbow and put their nose in their mouth. So having something to keep them, protected from bugs is something that maybe you wouldn't normally have in your kit that you would probably put in baby's kit. And how about a list of, just like you would probably have certain things that you want people to know about you if they find you. Maybe a list of medical conditions, allergies, other important health details. This way, others in your family or group can be informed in case maybe you and the other parent, or maybe you're alone, whatever, can't share such important emergency information so fast. So if there's a moment where you end up, someone has to look after baby for a little bit, you have this important information in their kit, because that kit goes with baby. And so any medical conditions, maybe a feeding schedule, it seems like babies, have these schedules, and they just it's this time, it's nap time, it's food time, it's diaper. I don't know. I guess diaper time happens whenever it's needed. Babies, I guess, have a very rigid schedule that I guess their demands need to be met, and when they're tired, and they seem to get in the in that schedule. So have that written down. Maybe any food, restrictions, anything like that. Special food diet, special care, any important information, so that if so-and-so has baby and baby bug-out bag, baby can be taken care of if you do not have the chance to relay all the important information. Kind of like the manual. You make a little baby care manual, the instruction kit that travels with baby, and then you should be fine. So those are the most important things to consider when making your baby bug-out bag or bug-out bag for baby. And you're gonna your baby best, and you'll have other items that maybe you want to add to that. But typically those are things that are overlooked, especially when we're used to making our bug-out bags for us, and you have maybe for someone that's able to communicate what their needs are. You really have to pay attention to what baby's needs are when you're making their bag to have everything that they need ready. And so it's not a bad idea to have some of these extra things set aside anyway. So, if there's for some reason you can't get to the store, you want to look at your shelter-in-place situation as well, so you're not relying on that bug-out bag. Now, I know that a lot of infant stuff can be expensive, and, you have to really be careful of best by dates, expiration dates when it comes to their food formula and all that. So that's something you constantly want to check and rotate the stock of anything that's perishable, or not perishable, but that could expire, even though it may have a long shelf life. So, and keep an eye on the type of formula and the size of the diapers and all that, because there are different size diapers. It's like underwear, and as they grow, and they could grow fast, you don't want a size 1 diaper when they need a size 5. So that's not going to work very well for them. So, and check the clothing in there too. We get to a certain age where it's like, yeah, these pants, they fit. Yeah, I'm still a 34. Yeah, I'm still a 34. Yeah, I'm a 32, but those pants are fine in my bug-out bag. Yeah, they still fit. No big deal. Yeah, they're good. Maybe you gain weight. They're just a little tight, but they're fine. We're probably at a point where we can probably have the same, like I have the same BDUs in my bug-out bag that I've had in there for maybe 3 years, because I did lose some weight a couple of years ago. And even though they're 34, I'm now 32, they are still just fine. Anything that's a 36 is way too big. I can make it work, though, but still too big for me now. So, you're constantly going to have to, every time you're buying new clothes for baby, maybe you want to get an extra 2 pairs of something to put on baby that goes in their bug-out bag. And go ahead and cycle through this stuff. And you're going to cycle through it a lot more often than you would your own gear in your bug-out bag. Because like I said, some stuff has expiration dates. They grow fast. Clothing is going to change a lot. And, as well as some other comfort items, toys. Eventually over time, you're not going to need the teething ring. You may not need pacifiers. You may not need a bottle that'll change into a sippy cup. The gear in there is going to change along with baby and their maturity, their growth, and their needs. We do have a quick timeout we're going to take right now. That's what that music means. We're coming up to the top of the hour. It's been 1 whole hour already. After this break, I'm bringing you to the Prepper Kitchen for our Prepping Kitchen Tip of the Week, where we discuss alternatives for baby formula and also how to make your own homemade formula. All that coming up right after this quick timeout. I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio. We'll be right back. Find Are You Ready on Facebook and Instagram at Are You Ready Radio. You can also visit our home on the web. Just go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the program's link. If you missed the live show, you can listen to the show's archives on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Deezer, and many more, including our home on Spreaker. When a disaster happens, are you ready? Do you have the supplies you need to keep you and your family safe and survive? The Zombie Outpost store in Wilmington, Ohio, at Cedar Creek Flea Market stocks quality gear you need to be ready for the next emergency or even a camping trip. Visit zombieoutpoststore.com for location and hours. Check out our assortment of essentials you need when the next disaster happens. Go to zombieoutpoststore.com. Get 10% off at checkout when you mention Are You Ready Radio. Be ready and be prepared.
In this digital society, making connections is quickly becoming a lost art form. Yet, if you are a small business owner, building your network is the only way you can get ahead. Can these skills be learned? You bet they can. Read Nose to Nose Networking. No-nonsense, in-person networking tips from a master. Who's the master? Well, who better to teach networking and friend-building skills than a golden retriever? The author, Melanie Hope, takes the antics of Abigail and translates them into the human experience. Through Abby, you will learn how to set your intention, build a network, and get into and out of conversations with grace. If you love the Dog Abby segments on Counterculture-Wise Radio, you will love Nose to Nose Networking even more. Find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in hard copy, Kindle, and Nook. Visit counterculturewise.com for direct links.
Hey, how you doing? This is Magic Pierce inviting you and yours to listen to some good friends of mine that have a show too. Did you really think my daddy is the only one that just runs his mouth all the time and that's the only thing I listen to? No, it's not. I got a show I listen to on Sundays. Join host Max and his co-host, my hottie Fritzy, and of course my good friend Abby on Counterculture-Wise, Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. They have their own human guests, Melanie and Jim, each week. They don't meow a lot, but you get what they're saying. Now let me tell you, you have to go to counterculturewise.com. Use your paws to play with the mouse and scroll down to the on-the-air button on the right to hear their show. Just click on that. After that, watch them on Periscope like I do. Daddy gives me a little mouse to play with, and I get farts the whole time. It's a great show. Check it out. Counterculturewise.com. If you don't tune in, I get cuckoos on you.
Thank you so much for that ringing endorsement, Magic. It warms the orange hearts of me and Abby and the gray heart of Fritzy to hear you say such amazing things about our show. I'm pretty sure that Mumsy and Father have pink hearts, so we will assume their hearts are warmed too.
Forget about it. I got you guys. Good peoples.
Got a spare tire around that waist? Is your muffin top over the top? Do you binge eat uncontrollably? We are the government and we are here to help you. Here at our free FEMA weight loss camp, we have numerous ways to help you shed those unsightly, unwanted pounds. FEMA, or Fatties Eating Mitigated, automatically has a communist-style weight loss czar that specializes in centralized weight loss planning and communal extended fasting programs to shed that fat away in no time. Skin and boned means extra toned is the motto. Just remember, there is no way you can do it on your own. We will forcefully assist you into compliance. Failure is not an option in this utopian wonderland. How fantastic. Typical workout regimes include digging ditches and restocking them with dirt, building railways and more. Get life skills while you get lean. How do you join? Simple. Recite the Constitution in a public commons, or violate the Patriot Act that includes simple misdemeanors. It's really that easy to get your own fenced-in slice of Americana. Stop being a fatty. The state is your daddy.
If you like what you are listening to, we appreciate your support. A small contribution from you, the listeners, can continue to help bring you such content and help keep things going here, even if it's just $1 a month. Keep in mind, though, in the spirit of prepping, we believe in redundancy, so it's better to have more than one, but every little bit helps pay the bills. Go to nickpiercemedia.com and click on the Support the Show link. You can make a one-time or monthly contribution in any dollar amount. And again, thank you for your support and listening. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio with Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. You are listening to Are You Ready Radio, and we are on this episode talking about prepping for your baby. Not preparing for when you have the baby, but when you have a baby, doing its little bug-out bag and all that, certain things that it needs, and how to plan for that, stockpile, and stuff for your baby. So that's pretty much the gist of what you need for your baby's bug-out bag, or baby bug-out bag. And you should also consider that as part of your plan for the shelter-in-place or bug-in situation as well. Now, before the break, I also mentioned that I'm going to talk about some alternatives, because it seems like the big question on everybody's mind is, because of the baby formula shortage, what are they doing? What are they going to feed baby? Well, baby needs to be fed and watered, just like a plant. So, and the only difference is you got to change them too. Now, with the formula shortage, this is causing a lot of concern with parents of babies, and also folks that depend on baby formula because they have digestive issues or allergies to, or issues processing and digesting food. So, it's affecting adults too that have certain conditions. Now, there's a couple alternatives to baby formula. Now, of course, in the top of the program, I did mention that breastfeeding is the main alternative. So this is really the how you would feed your baby in a survival situation is breastfeeding. But in the scenario, don't forget that I mentioned earlier that what if you can't breastfeed? Now, obviously, men can't breastfeed if they're an only dad. So, even though breastfeeding is the best infant feeding option in a natural disaster situation, or any situation, if it hits the shan situation when you can't get formula in this case, because breast milk does help protect the baby from diseases, respiratory infections. It also has a lot of the calories and nutrients that babies need. I guess it's the easiest way to sum that up. And, in some of my research, I was trying to figure out, well, what happens if, we'll say a vegetarian can't just start eating meat because it's a survival situation, and now all of a sudden they're going to eat meat because their body loses the ability to digest meat if they've been a vegetarian or vegan so long. Just like, folks that don't eat a lot of vegetables, certain vegetables may not agree with them, like they're just not used to digesting it because they never eat it. So, in a survival situation, they can't just say, well, I'm going to eat a salad. They're going to need their protein. They're going to need to get their protein, their meat, some way, and fats that they're used to, which is the way their body functions and they're able to digest. So, you don't want to, okay, experts say not to start formula feeding, and do not wean your baby from the breast milk in an emergency. Now, if you're both breastfeeding and formula feeding, it's best to increase the breastfeeding
and if possible, only breastfeeding your baby, and stop the formula feeding during the emergency. Now, I haven't quite found what happens. Well, what if they are formula feeding and you just stop formula feeding and switch to breast milk? I don't think that would really affect anything, but I'm no doctor. So I really can't say. Now, another option here, and this is how it kind of tied into my original subject of the episode, before I scrap that one, I'll probably do it next week, is the other option is someone in your network that's able to breastfeed can feed baby. Now, this was actually a practice that a lot of women did way back in the early times. It's called wet nursing, where there was specific people that did nothing but breastfeed babies. That's what they did for a job, or because they were forced to do it because that was their function when they were owned in, let's say, Egypt and slavery and all that. So it was a practice where because a lot of women, especially way back, 2,000, 3,000, years ago, it wasn't uncommon for someone may not to survive giving birth, and so they they depended on what was called wet nurses to feed the baby, to nurse it, because they didn't have formula back then. I was wondering, it's like, well, wait a minute, what did people do before formula? What did they feed baby? Well, it was all breastfed. And if the mother wasn't able to breastfeed the baby, or they didn't survive giving birth, then they depended on someone else to feed the baby. And in my research, there was also a bunch of other interesting facts and trivial tidbits and stuff that I found, which I'm sure a simple search of the internet can get you into that, but it's a little too far off subject as to how and why things came about and this, that, and the other. Very interesting reads if you want to do a little research. And, the internet's a wonderful thing. Now, as far as, folks have always, kind of not always been, a lot in the past few weeks, it seems like the big topic of conversation, the question I get asked most is like some doomsday prepper formula for formula? And I said, well, not that I know of, but I will look that up. But I also found other alternatives to breastfeeding if you're not feeling that adventurous and wanting to use a recipe to try to make your own. Goat's milk. Goat's milk is an option, and it's not just an option for the baby. It's also a decent option for you from what I read. I don't drink goat's milk. I'm not a big milk drinker to begin with. And many mothers actually use goat's milk by choice. It's not necessarily recommended regularly, though, from what I understand. So I had to do a little more research to see exactly what the little details are about this. But this could be a great option for you if you don't have access to baby formula in case of an emergency. Remember, this is for emergencies. Aside from goat's milk, I heard that use of coconut milk is also good. It's a non-dairy, plant-based milk. And some parents use this, and they also use it in making their own formula recipes, because apparently coconut milk is somewhat, I guess, an alternative to breast milk. It has a very high content of fatty acids, and the fatty acids are the same ones, I guess, that could be found in the mother's milk. And it helps strengthen the immune system, protects against bacteria and viral infections. Now, the drawback that I found with coconut's milk, though, is it doesn't have all the necessary protein and calcium that an infant needs. So they use this as, I guess, the main base in making their own formula, because they add other liquid calcium and other supplements and vitamins and minerals to this coconut milk. And, of course, coconut milk, you don't milk a plant. It's actually in the coconut. So if you shake a coconut, you'll hear something inside. It's the juice that's inside of it. Coconut juice or coconut milk is what it is. It's called milk, but it's not considered a dairy product. And, of course, it's safe for babies that are not able to drink milk because of allergies or any intolerances that they have. So an alternative to both formula, breast milk and goat's milk, would be the coconut milk. And then you want to make sure that you have the nutritious nutrients to add to it, vitamins, minerals, and whatever else you need. Now, this brings me, we're going to go to the kitchen for our prepping kitchen tip of the week. I'm going to share a recipe with you. Burp, 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 burpy, burp, burp, burp. Burp, 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 burpy, burp, burp, burp. Burp, 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 burpy, burp, burp, burp. Burp, 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 burpy. Burp. So the big question is, what do we do when we need to make formula? What do we do when we can't breastfeed? We can't breastfeed. I can't breastfeed. Or maybe they're a guy. There's no way they can. And it came up in a conversation, and the first time it came up, it was kind of funny when I was asked. They said, well, if you had a kid, what would you do? Obviously, you can't breastfeed. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, if the baby tried to gnaw on my nipple, I said they'd end up with a lip ring and their tongue pierced. So we thought about this for a while, and, they said, well, come on. Doomsday Preppers have all these answers. Now, you see, folks, I always say, sometimes they think that we're paranoid or maybe, whack jobs. But for some reason, any time the fit hits the shan, it's always us that they turn to. You ever notice that? Take notice of that. That means we're doing something right, and they did not. And that's really why this program is here. Not really just to give out baby formula recipes, because, like I said, I haven't no experience in this. I have not tried this. This is just based on my research that I've done, and it seems like there's some consistency in the recipes that I've found, and I haven't seen anything saying don't do that. So some of the ingredients may vary. I actually found two ones that seem to be popular. And the first one, this is like the emergency baby formula recipe. Now, I should probably post this on our social media, so take a look at it there. And I'm also going to put it on the website for the Zombie Outpost website, where you can click on programs and you'll see some information there. And I'll create a page for that probably after this broadcast, maybe the next day or so. I hope I get to it. Because all this is very last minute, so there's no pre-planned go to this page and it's there ready for you by the time you hear this. Boom, it works. No, though, this is all like kind of off the top of my head and just some research that I did literally about a half hour before talking to you this evening. So, okay, so the ingredients here. 1.5 cups boiling water. Start writing this down. There's not that many. 2 teaspoons of sugar. 1/4 cup of non-instant powdered milk, or 1/3 of a cup and 2 tablespoons of instant powdered milk. Okay? The next thing is you're going to need just 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. So 4 ingredients right there. Boiled water, not boiling water, but just boiled water. You want to kind of let it cool down a little bit. 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon cooking oil, and the instant powdered milk or non-instant powdered milk. 1/4 cup of non-instant, 1/3 of a cup, and plus 2 tablespoons of instant powdered milk. Seems like this is very specific. So I would carefully measure this stuff out. This is for the baby. Baby has no way of telling you, this isn't working. This doesn't taste good, or I'm not getting what I need. The only thing they'll do is cry, and then eventually poop, and then eventually puke, and then eventually go to sleep. But try to keep happy baby as much as possible. Now, you're going to mix the water and the powdered milk thoroughly. Then you add the sugar and the oil and mix thoroughly again. Making your baby food is also cheaper than buying baby food as well. Now, that's the baby formula recipe. Oh, I found one other recipe that I did want to share with you. This is pretty much the same. And then I'll get to a quick point about baby food before we run out of time or before we go. The second recipe I found, which seems very consistent and is, shared and used quite often, it looks like, based on my research, is you combine 6 ounces of evaporated milk, 10 ounces of boiled water, 1.5 tablespoons of sugar. Now, the sugar can also be substituted with cornstarch. And then you pretty much make it the same way. Just mix everything together and boiled water, not boiling water. So you want to let it cool down. I think you have to let that cool down anyway from a culinary standpoint, because I don't think you want to curdle that milk or spoil the milk when you're making it. So bottled water, I guess, would work the same way. Because this is for your baby, I guess you just don't want to use tap water, because I guess they're more prone to problems drinking tap water. So just like in their kit, you want to have boiled water or bottled water. You want to have a way of treating water for your baby, a way of boiling it if you source it from somewhere. So it kind of goes a little beyond what our immune system is used to drinking. You can't let a baby drink that, apparently. So, but as long as they're fed and watered, you're fine. And so those are the two baby formula recipes that I have for you. And it's going to bring me to my thought about the baby food, because it is cheaper making your own than store-bought food. And baby food is actually quite easy to make. You need a fork. You can use a baby food maker. I'm sure they make them, like baby food grinders and all this stuff. But really, you know what? Either a blender or a food processor will work just fine. And you're going to want some vegetables. Carrots, peas. You're pretty much going to puree anything. Anything that you think baby will eat. Peas, carrots, whatever you think will look as horrible as possible in the diaper after they eat it, that's what they like to eat. That I do know about babies. That much I do know. So you can mash together whatever this concoction is supposed to be, and everything is just a puree. You just blend it. It just needs to, and maybe you just want to add a little water. Now, if you're using like fresh vegetables, you want to give them a boil. Drop them in boiling water for a little bit, maybe, and then steam them, soften them up a little more. But then before you do the blending process, rinse them under cold water, and then go ahead and just go for the blender food processor thing. So that is pretty much your Prepping for Babies episode. And if you have any topics you would like me to discuss or talk about on this program, feel free to send them in to our social media. Well, I hope that I helped you seriously think, prepare, and answer the question, are you ready? I'm Nick Pierce, the Barefoot Prepper. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in and the support you give the show. Our guests, the callers, our friends in chat, listeners, clients, customers, everybody at the store, everything. Find Are You Ready on Facebook and Instagram at Are You Ready Radio. You can also find us on the web at nickpiercemedia.com. Click on the program's link. Find us on your favorite podcast platforms and on our home on Spreaker. To contribute to the show, go to Nick Pierce Media and click on the Support the Show link. Are You Ready Radio is the official podcast of Zombie Outpost in Wilmington, Ohio, and is an NP Media Group production.